We're not going to talk about summer camps right now.
We're not going to talk about
I do have mine figured out, though, so I'm really proud of myself.
What are your kids doing?
One is doing a teen travel camp, which is not very teeny or traveling.
Fancy.
And then the other one is just doing the normal town camp with all of their besties. And so, yeah, it's all done. We don't have August figured out yet, though.
So right now we're in hodgepodge mode. Every year the girls go to day camp, right? It's around the corner. It's great. It costs an insane amount of money.
Oh.
And so like every year I have to sit down with my husband and be like, we're going to do this, right? And he's like, we're not going to do this. He's like, you're talking to the wrong person. He grew up in Queens. He's like, I went in the backyard and I like kicked tires around.
I never went to camp either.
He was like, this is too much. This year we'll probably take one vacation and do something nice like that.
What will the kids do on a day-to-day basis?
So this is the plan. They'll watch TV.
Okay.
They'll sleep in late.
You will get tired of that.
No, but can I tell you, this is actually,
their lives are so crazy.
It's an important conversation, right? Growing up, I think being children of immigrants, our parents weren't ever wealthy. We never lived without. We had food on the table. We had everything we needed, but there wasn't a ton of access, right? And so like getting to be in lots of extracurricular activities and doing sports and doing this was just not an option, either financially or just time-wise. Parents are doing their thing. And I think we're all overcompensating a bit now. I certainly am by putting my kids in everything, right? Like they say they want to do X and
well, when they say they don't want to do X, we still are like, no, you got to do it.
But like they can't get the words out of their mouth that have already signed them up, right? So every single sport, every activity, everything. I just figured like that was me being a good parent, exposing them to as much, letting them live their life, letting them get exposure. But my oldest daughter, who's now in 5th grade, and your oldest is in 5th grade too, she said to me like maybe 3 weeks ago, she's like, Mommy, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so busy. We never have time. I never have time to relax. So anytime a kid uses the word relax, I first laugh to myself. I'm like, get out of here, relax. You don't need to relax. But it did dawn on me that we are over orchestrating and engineering their lives. And so the cost factor of day camp aside for a moment, one of the things that I've told myself is I want my kids to have a lazy summer. Because like if I'm going to over manufacture their school life, like they need to just be kids, right? So I remember reading about this at like, one of the biggest detriments to like this next generation of kids coming up is they're constantly stimulated and entertained. And like the best spark to creativity is boredom. You have to be bored, right? When you're bored, that's when your brain starts generating ideas and you come up with things to do.
They're just exposed to screens, right?
But we don't let our kids be bored.
But you have to let them be bored without screens.
Yeah.
Because my kids will be on screens That's my like in order for them to not be on screen, you have to be at task at all times.
No, that's what I'm going to challenge you on. That's the point. That's what I'm going to challenge you on, right? So like we have, I think there's 2 or 3 things that as this generation of parents that we might have painted ourselves into a corner. Number one is that we put them in everything, which is fine. I'm not going to knock it. I do it.
Puts them in everything.
I'll continue to do it. She does too. Yeah. And I'll continue to do it, right? Until they say they don't want to do it. But they don't have downtime. They don't have time for their brains to reset. They don't have time just to freaking be and chill. They're tired, right? So that's a whole thing to solve. But also, we need to give them the ability to be bored. And being bored means we don't have to be the source of their entertainment. I think that's the other thing that we have felt a lot of pressure from day one. As a parent, I certainly have, which is like, oh my God, my kid, like if I don't entertain them, they'll be in front of a screen. You know what happens? So we have devised this plot, which is during the month of Ramadan, during the month of fasting, I use it as an excuse to digitally cleanse my kids. So what I tell them is that God, does not want them to watch TV during Ramadan. So they're like, oh, God doesn't want us to watch. They'll listen. So I hide the remotes, I hide the iPads, I hide all the devices. Everything's gone. And there's no television for 30 days. The only television they're allowed to watch is like educational stuff, which is basically no television, right? They don't watch. And the first 3 days are miserable. They're complaining, they're whining. They're like the worst kids ever. Day 4, I'll hear playing. Day 5, I hear laughing. Day 6, in the morning, when they're getting ready for school, they just want to watch something. When there's nothing, they're getting ready on time because they're not delaying time. They are having conversation. I've seen them sit and read books at 7:30 in the morning because they're so bored. They rather crack a book open. And like, that's part of my lazy summer plan this year is to let them be lazy, sleep late, wake up late. It's fine. They will survive. Their life will not unravel. They will not become drug addicts by doing that. They'll be okay. And also to eliminate the entertainment so they have to entertain themselves.
I'm really curious to hear how this goes. I'm really curious.
Listen, bitch. It's going to be fine.
No, listen, I really want that. I really, really mean that.
I'm very
I have to tell you, my son, it's really important for him to please. He's
Yeah.
and like I think
Firstborn.
it's a firstborn. Like even if I'm like, oh, you didn't eat your lunch, he'll be so upset. I'll be like, Mommy, but I didn't have time. He'll think like I'm upset with him. And so whatever you ask him to do, he is self-sacrificial in wanting to do his best, right? He'll come home, put his backpack down, take his homework upstairs, and he will not come downstairs until he's done homework. But then sometimes he feels a crunch of time because then he's got soccer practice and then he's got to come back from soccer practice and he has to do Quran. And so like he's constantly feeling anxious. Oh my God, we're creating anxious kids. When I first started seeing it, I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with him? He's being rebellious. And I'm like, no, he's not being rebellious. He's freaking out because he wants to do everything well and he just there's so much to do. But then I have to tell you the counter to that, which is why I really refrain from giving them long periods of time where they don't have anything to do. It's either screen time, fighting for screen time, begging for screen time, or Mommy, I'm bored. Mommy, can we do something? Mommy, can you play dolls with me? Mommy, can you play basketball with me? And some of the things he wants me to do, I'm like, baby, Mommy's like not athletic. I don't want to do
not at all.
So I think a part of it is my own fears about the time that I don't have to give them or the fact that I'll have to entertain them.
We're self-inducing this. It's all self-inflicted. You said something before that reminded me of something that I did not realize I was doing, which was if I don't give them a screen or give them something to do or entertain them, then they will make a mess.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing, right?
I hate messes.
They're going to make a mess. They hate messes, right? We grew up with brown moms. It's like conditioned in our brain.
Yes.
So I remember this. My oldest, when she was in pre-K, the pre-K teacher would always complain and say, your daughter doesn't feed herself. Like she doesn't eat.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's because I feed her at home. Can't you feed my kid? And I was like, yeah, but that's because I feed her at home. She's not used to feeding herself. And the teacher was like, wait, come again? You feed your kid? And I was like, do we not all? I didn't realize that maybe it was a brown thing or what. God. But she was like, your kid has to feed themselves. I was like, yeah, but then they'll make a mess. And she was like, so? And I was like, what do you mean, so? But she was like, so? That's how they learn. Clean it up. And I think that's what it is. So here's a challenge for ourselves. And we're going to challenge ourselves.
Okay,
and we're going to challenge anyone else that's listening to any of this and is feeling like any sort of anxiety or fear that's related in this way. Let's challenge ourselves to like give it a week. Have a week in our homes this summer where we just are not the source of entertainment and neither is a screen. And just let it be. You will hear screams and you will hear fights and you will hear a mess. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But like, let's challenge ourselves.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it's less about them. It's more about us.
Yeah.
These are our own sort of hang-ups and things.
No. I think it's our own trauma that makes us cater to them so much.
Yeah.
But it's like the idea of not planning something out for them, right? Like even now. So I was coming to your place and my son didn't want to come because you have his daughter. He's like, I don't want to go. And like, here I am texting 5 moms being like, hey, does your kid want to come over for a play date? Because I felt so bad that I was doing something with my daughter and that he didn't have something I had planned for him to do.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
And I'm not calling you out. I do it too.
Yeah.
Why do we have to be the source of their entertainment?
Yeah.
Either we're entertaining them or finding their entertainment.
Yeah.
I think we're not. I don't think we're doing them right.
I know. We're not raising resilient kids.
We're not raising We're just resourceful.
Yeah.
Problem solvers. Boredom busters. I think, you know what? I'd love to hear from some parents that are on the other side of this. If you have parents of high school kids or college kids, and you're past this stage where your kids are like, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like in that range, like if you're a parent that has invested a lot in being a source of entertainment for your kids or a provider of entertainment versus one that hasn't, just like, what does the other side look like? Pros and cons. Like, would love some guidance because my full-time job is not my career alone. It is also being the source of entertainment for my kids.
Yeah. But I have to tell you, so we both have 3 kids, right? And so our oldest is like, of course, the pleaser. The second is the rebellious. The third, the coolest, independent child who is so resourceful and so resilient. Do you have that as well?
I wonder, so my youngest is older than your youngest, right? So mine is 6, almost 7, yours is 3.
Yeah.
What I thought she was at 3 is not who she is at 7.
Okay.
I don't think we spoiled her, like we treat them pretty evenly, but the third one knows how to get away with doing very little. The youngest knows how to get away with doing very little.
Because we were just not stressing
Because they're just not
the
stressing.
forgotten
They have
child.
no responsibility.
Yes.
They have no sense of
But
responsibility.
they're very cute.
They're so cute.
So cute.
So cute. They just are.
Yeah.
They just exist in
Oh my
space.
goodness, I love it though. The sense of like he floats socially. Like, so we can go to a wedding, we can go to a 500-person event, and like the second we get there, that's when I see him. He's 3. He's 3. He will find food on his own. We had an iftar months ago, and I am standing with a bunch of moms chatting. And I look over, and my kid is sitting next to a mom that I do not know, and she's feeding him rice.
Yeah, I will say that. I will say my youngest is the most comfortable with strangers.
Yeah, but it just like flows through the world. Like he wants to go and explore and navigate, and doesn't really have hangups like the older two. But talk to me about the spoiled part. Talk
This
to
is
me
a
about
perfect
the.
example. So Medeo's coming to my house today. So I was like, I might as well clean up a little bit. So we're like tidying up and stuff. And I had 3 jolies, right? Like little tops that go with lehengas. For the 3 girls, we had gone to a wedding 2 months ago. The jolies were still in my room. So they had these, and the tops were, mind you, this big. They're this big for 3 young girls. And so I was like, I told my youngest daughter, I was like, hey, can you pick these up and bring them downstairs? And she picked them up. And she said, Mommy, they're so heavy. I can't do it. They're so heavy. They're swatches of fabric this big. And I was like, what? They're not heavy. Pick that, Mommy. I can't. I'm so tired. I can't do it. And that is her entire existence. And so that's, maybe she's an anomaly, and her horns are like so resourceful and so on it. This girl's not on it in that way. Her goal in life is to like, there's a chore to do. She like, you know that meme of like Homer Simpson backing into the hedges? That's her. She will like back out and like she's gone. She won't be seen again. That's who she is.